Welcome to On Our Watch, a podcast about coastal erosion and sustainability in Louisiana. My name is Marian Evans. I'm a filmmaker and a producer of the documentary On Our Watch, a feature-length film that examines Louisiana's coastal land loss crisis and the ways in which it impacts our communities, industries, and culture. The film's director, Jonathan Evans, and I are proud to produce this podcast series that will continue to explore issues facing the Louisiana coast through conversations with local residents, community leaders, and experts. In this episode, we're speaking with Susan Russell. Susan is the executive director for Keep Louisiana Beautiful, an anti-litter and community improvement nonprofit organization focused on achieving a clean and beautiful Louisiana. And now, our interview with Susan Russell. Well, thank you so much, Susan, for talking to me today. So first I wanted to ask you about how you originally got involved with Keep Louisiana Beautiful, and was this something that you were always passionate about?
So I started my journey with this organization actually working with Keep Mandeville Beautiful. So I did that at the local level for 6 years before assuming the state level position. But I've worked in nonprofits my entire career. In fact, right out of college, I worked for Louisiana Special Olympics. And then from there, I worked for Volunteers of America for Greater New Orleans. And so I made a conscious decision very early on that I wanted to work in the nonprofit sector. It was very important to me that I contribute in a positive way to the community or the state that I live in.
Excellent. And so for people who may not know, what is the main function of Keep Louisiana Beautiful, and what are some of the different services and programs that you all provide?
Sure. So our mission is to promote individual, corporate, and community responsibility for a clean and beautiful Louisiana. And we do that in a variety of different ways. We have programs, we have education, we do professional development training, we have grant funding, and we have different campaigns to heighten awareness. And it's all done in an effort to build capacity and provide resources and tools for local communities, because change happens at the local level quickest. And we believe that everyone deserves to live in a clean and beautiful community.
Great. And so I know that you all recently published an in-depth litter study for Louisiana. So how is that litter study being used to address the litter problem in our state?
Sure. We did a litter study last year, the first comprehensive litter study done in Louisiana in over 10 years. And it was 3 parts. One was a roadside litter survey, one was a public attitude survey, and the other one was documenting the cost of litter. And having that data really is essential to help us guide our programming and our funding. It also sets a baseline and a foundation so that we can measure, hopefully, successes for the next coming years. It documented that at any given time, we have about 143 million pieces of litter on our roadways. Clearly, we know we have a litter problem. And it also provided us with wonderful information about it was documented that of the sites, there was 38% less litter in those areas that were maintained or beautified. And so to answer your question, how do we use this data to better serve the public, right? So from that, we created a beautification grant for local communities to help improve the entryways to their cities, those first impressions that are so important, to help beautify high-trafficked areas and medians and intersections. And so that's one way we use that data. Another way is when we ask people, why do you litter or contribute littering at outdoor events? Louisiana is known for all of our fairs and festivals and parades, and Mardi Gras season's coming up. But unfortunately, we also know that when that large amount of waste is not managed correctly, it can become litter, and that's a problem, right? And so over 68% indicated that the reason that litter takes place at outdoor events is because there's either not enough trash receptacles, those trash receptacles aren't serviced and they're overflowing, or they're not in an area that is easily accessible or convenient. And so this provided an opportunity for us to say, you know what, let's work with our outdoor event organizers to help them, to educate them, to train them on ways that they can better manage the waste and reduce litter and incorporate recycling into their large events. So we partnered with the French Quarter Fest, Inc., and we put out the Greener Grounds, and it's a guidebook and a manual so that event organizers and those committees can work through that and learn how to create waste stations, where to put them, how to incorporate recycling into their festival, and do things, for example, maybe instead of selling single plastic water bottles, maybe have water refilling stations, and maybe you sell reusable ones instead. So different little tactics and tips like that, but we also created a Greener Grounds grant. So this will provide some seed money and startup money for those outdoor event organizers who want to incorporate some of these best practices into their festivals. We also, knowing that trash cans, when there are trash cans in public spaces, we've documented that there's a reduction of litter by 76%. So we also have a grant, and last year we placed 900 trash receptacles in public spaces throughout Louisiana. So those are just 3 or so examples on how this data drives our programs and helps us to work more efficiently and effectively.
Oh, yeah, that's so interesting. It's like having that data and seeing the numbers, I bet really puts it into perspective. Like people may think, oh, litter here and there, but it creates a really big problem.
It's a big problem, and it's a complicated problem. People think it's just, people throwing something out of their car window, and clearly we've all seen that, and as disgusting as that is, unfortunately it's not the only source of litter. It's much more complicated than that, and so it requires a multi-layered approach. Mm-hmm. It's not just individuals, it's, we all have a role and a responsibility, and we're going to see change when everyone steps up and takes responsibility for their own behaviors and their own actions. And that includes our cities, our parishes, our state agencies, as well as our families and our individuals.
Absolutely. And so I wanted to talk to you about Love the Boot Week, which I know is coming up in April. And so what is Love the Boot all about? How did it start, and how can people get involved?
Sure. Love the Boot Week is our signature event going into our 3rd year, and it has been received just amazingly from not just individuals and families, businesses, cities, community groups. Last year we had 547 cleanup and beautification events in the 1 week. So Love the Boot Week is a time in Louisiana. It will always coincide with Earth Day week. And it's a time for us to say, go outside and do something in your neighborhood, in your community, to improve its appearance. Most of the events are litter removal events, but we also planted close to 400 trees and planted gardens and removed graffiti. So there's other components to it. But it's all about investing and being a part of your community and not waiting for someone else to do it. It's also an amazing public awareness event. So throughout the state, there's the buzz of all of these different groups. Close to 13,000 volunteers came out in 1 week to help Louisiana. And so it's really about love where you live, take pride in where you live, and be a part of maintaining it. It's not someone else's job. We all have, back again to what I was saying earlier, we all have a role and a responsibility for caring for our homes and our community. And so with that many people walking their neighborhoods and walking in their communities to pick up litter, they become keenly aware of how bad the litter problem is, because we all are driving down the road and we see the bag of fast food, or we see the ice chest or the piece of furniture, the mattress, right? Those big items. But actually most litter is 4 inches or smaller. The cigarette butts, the little pieces that unfortunately have been mowed over. And when you're walking the street, you notice all the little pieces of litter that you don't notice when you're in your car. going 40, 50 miles an hour. And that awareness is priceless. And they come back and they are just so upset that their community is littered like this. And they see it in the ditches, and they see the birds in the ditches, and they know that that's not a good thing. And if they can come back irate and tell their family and their friends, again, that change starts with awareness. And so, because people will often say, well, why do y'all do cleanups? Because a day or two later, we drive down the street and there's litter again. And it is a tool in the toolbox. And so with Love the Boot Week, when we have 13,000 people walking our streets and picking up litter, over 300 tons of litter was picked up in 1 week. It's huge. It's also an incredible education and awareness tool.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's like it really gives people a sense of connection to it, and so they take it personally, and it becomes part of their mindset going forward.
It's something that we find that families can do together, friends and teenagers can do together. They can get, community service hours that they need at school. It's simple, it's easy, and it's amazing what you can get done in just 1 hour. You need a glove and you need a bag. So it's simple for anybody to come do. So actually we have registration open right now. I would love for invite all of your, viewers and listeners to go to our website, keeplouisianabeautiful.org, and register their event. The first 300 events that are registered will get a supply box from us with t-shirts and bags and gloves. And again, we're trying to break that record next year, and we want to shoot for 600 or 650 events. We'll be giving out 300 boxes of supplies, and so registration's open now, and we encourage everyone to do their part.
Wow, very, very cool. And so can you tell me a little bit also about some of your efforts regarding education on how to be a good environmental steward, and why do you think it's important to engage the community on topics like this?
Sure. Well, it's important because we need to bring change to Louisiana, right? We're one of the most littered states in Louisiana, and we're a beautiful state, and it tarnishes our image. It hurts our wonderful wildlife, marine life. We sit at the mouth of the Gulf of Mexico with the Mississippi watershed running straight through us, and that affects everything in our state. But we need to work to protect it, to preserve the beauty, right? And we claim to love our state, right? Love the boot. And but we don't do a very good job taking care of it. And we work to change that, to change. It's a behavioral change, it's a cultural change, and change is hard. And that's why we approach it from many different angles, but we need everybody doing their part. And so we have programs designed to engage our business community, right? Because they have a role. Doing things, honestly, that they should be doing anyway. But we have a Clean Biz program, and we challenge them to keep your parking lots clean every day, have a trash receptacle out front, maintain and keep clean the area around your dumpster, keep your landscaping maintained, and create a culture of cleanliness within your employees. Let them know that this is a value for your business. And so if we can get the business community just to do those 5 simple things, it would make a huge change, right? We have education lesson plans for K through 5 that align with the student standards so that we can give that tool to the teachers so that we can get some of this taught in the schools. We also have some activities for non-formal educators, your Girl Scouts, your Boy Scout leaders, those groups, 4-H, because we recognize that there's a lot of education that takes place outside of the classroom. We also partnered this year with our libraries, over 300 libraries in Louisiana. So you can now take your library card, go to a participating library and check out grabbers and safety vests and bags so that if you see your neighborhood or your area around your school is littered, You don't have to wait for someone else to do something. We don't believe that it needs to be an official cleanup in order to do something. You see it, pick it up. And so now you can go check out those supplies, do your little cleanup, bring the supplies back. And so we established that program really to empower and engage individuals and families. And so those are just a few of the programs that we make available to everyone in Louisiana.
Right. So it's really just about making sure tools are available and nearby and that people know ways that they can help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We're here to, like I said, to help local communities, to provide support and resources. And then we also, do a lot to try to engage the municipalities and the parishes on a greater level, because they have a huge responsibility, right? They have a responsibility to make sure all of our public spaces are clean, to make sure they have adequate number of trash receptacles, to provide recycling, whether that's a drop-off, a curbside, to manage the waste. So there's a huge responsibility on their part as well.
What would you say that you like most about your job working with Keep Louisiana Beautiful?
Oh, I like so many different parts of it. I like the creative part. I like the program development part. But the most, I think the thing I like the most is meeting the people of Louisiana. It allows me the opportunity to travel our state, because our footprint is the entire state. And I meet people from all over in different corners and small pockets. And people really do care. And they're passionate about their hometown and wanting, what's best for it and protecting it and cleaning it. And I've just met some amazing, amazing people in our state. And that keeps me motivated, because I want to bring about the change that we all need and want and deserve. I was born and raised here. I raised my 3 daughters here. And I want to leave a legacy for Louisiana of a clean and beautiful state. We deserve better, and we can do better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is inspiring to get together with other people who care as much as you do. But that's why Love the Boot is such a good event, because
it is. It brings those like-minded people together. We also have a network of partners, and we have affiliate organizations, Keep Blank Beautiful, in different parts of our state. So there's 37 affiliate partners. We also started the university affiliate program, so we have 10 universities like Keep LSU Beautiful and Keep Nichols Beautiful. And that's a program that we're especially proud about, because we're leading the country, and it's great to lead in areas. So California has one university program, and I think they only have 2 universities on board. So it's just us in California that have this university. And it's important, because when we look about how do we change this, right? How do we change these behaviors, these cultures, these actions? People say, it starts with the young people, and it does. This engaging our young adults on college campuses is critical, because those are our next generation of leaders, and they get it. And they're going to make sure that things change. And so being able to engage them in these issues of waste management, recycling, sustainability is so important. And so we're really proud of that program. And, our partners aren't just limited to our affiliates. We have other nonprofits throughout the state that we're able to work with and together on these issues.
Yeah, that's really cool. It seems like you'll have your hands in a lot of different areas.
All over.
Yeah. And lastly, I just wanted to ask if you had any goals or plans for the future that you're really looking forward to on the horizon.
We are looking to have a greater impact, and I am predicting that next year our interstates will be a lot cleaner. Our roadways will be a lot cleaner. We're looking at how we can, what changes are necessary to make that happen, and engaging probably parishes to have a greater role in that. We are relaunching a revised litter hotline, because we want to increase enforcement and we want to give people the power when they see someone littering that they can do something about it by using the hotline, calling in, reporting it. And I think those two changes will be will make remarkable progress. Because like I said, we have programs and tools and grant funding, but some of the other pieces that are missing, we are going to be focusing more on those. And together, I think that it'll be such a more comprehensive approach that we will really start to see those changes.
Very nice. Well, thank you so much,
Yeah.
Susan, for talking to me today.
Sure.
I really
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you for listening to On Our Watch. We hope you enjoyed our discussion with Susan Russell. Don't forget to subscribe to On Our Watch on your favorite podcast app to be notified about future episodes. You can also watch a video version of this podcast on YouTube, which you can find a link to in the description. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back with another episode next week. This podcast is made possible through grant funds from the Greater New Orleans Foundation and executive produced by Bruno UK Steiner.